Hello and welcome to the Hero Spouse. I'm Kenda Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse. Her bomb drop was March 11th of 2020. She has a date of marriage of 2013. Her MLCer is a clinging boomerang and a high-energy replayer. She says, I think that my MLCer is overly confident I will be standing forever. He talks to the children, so he knows I'm not dating. They're not around any other man. He also talks to me as I'm dependent on him in a lot of ways. And it's been this way since bomb drop. He says things like, who knows what the future will bring? And he asked me to keep his extra clothes in my house. He misses us a lot, but thinks he must stay with the alienator until she gets her legal status. So let's back up for a moment and go over the divorce has been finalized and he remarried. He married the alienator. He had not told anyone for a long time. He keeps it kind of secret. And he said that he wants to divorce her and that it was only so she could get legal status in country. So he must stay with her until she gets her legal status. Then he will divorce her. She will be grateful and they will part ways as friends. Then he might come back to us. How do I shutter this illusion? I told him a lot of times that the breakup with the alienator will not be pretty, and he promised to have her sign the postnup, but it didn't happen. Should I tell him I intend on dating soon to make him feel he might lose us? So far, he hasn't lost us. He just keeps two homes. Okay, first thing, well, one of the things let's go over that, and we've known this. You have a cake eater. And yeah, clanging boomerang is an absolute definite. We know that. One of the things, though, that this is a good sign of is that he is reassured that you're there. He's reassured. One of the things I say that in the beginning, it's a really good thing to do is establish reassurance. You want them to be reassured that you aren't leaving them. But it does create a double bind later on as you are in the crisis where, well, now they're reassured it worked. And well, she'll never leave me. I can do whatever I want. And in your case, he's already divorced you and married the other person. Even though in his mind, he's always said, well, it's not really a marriage. He doesn't tell her that. What he tells you, the side he wants you to hear, is, I just did it because I had to help her get in country. Whatever. So one of the things that you need to do is he's divorced you and he's remarried somebody. And you need to set it up as that. You've said that, with Chuck, we weren't divorced. And I could say you're having an inappropriate relationship with somebody else and you're not allowed to come home. You're not allowed to contact me. And we didn't have children. You can do something similar, though, because he married her. You can, but you can't really say you can't be around that woman. Legally, he has, he can be around her, and legally, he has to be around her to get rid of her in that sense. You also don't want somebody who is just going to do the same thing to somebody else that they did to you. It's better to be a grown-up and get out of it the right way. So I want you to see the positives in it, and then let's see about what you should do. Because I was at this place where he had too much reassurance. The cake, that's when you know you have cake eating. You think you have cake eating, and sure you do. Before that, when they're trying to have the best of both worlds, or they're coming home to have their laundry done and get their you fix. But when they finally think, it doesn't matter what I do, she's not leaving me. She's not divorcing me. She's always going to be there for me. And I'm going to keep up with that because I like it. That's when you know you've hit the sweet spot of, okay, cake eating just hit the time where it has to be pulled, the rug has to be pulled out from under them. And I know we've talked about no contact, and it is a challenge with kids, even though there is a lot of geography between you when he's not visiting. But how do you shutter his illusion? You tell him, no, buddy, you're married to somebody else right now. And you know what? I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to. I've been thinking about this a lot. And you're married to her. So don't go telling me a bunch of pretty little stories about how you just manipulated her or you're just helping her out, poor, poor pity girl, so that she can get her legal status. Oh, I mean, that doesn't make you a nice guy. You left your wife to give somebody legal status so that then you can dump them and go back to your wife? You destroyed your family so you could give somebody legal status? No. So right now, I'm really sorry. I love you. And I want nothing other than for our family, you and me, to be a family. I want us together again. But it's not going to work the way you're trying to get it to work. No, I'm not going to be patient with you and sit back and give you the time. But you know what? You've got it anyway. You've got the time because I don't have a choice. You took that away from me. I don't have a choice on the patience. I'm going to live my life. And if someday you get your life together and I happen to be interested and available, well, you can ask me then. But other than that, you are my children's father. And until you get your life together, don't talk to me. Other than as, hi, I'm in town. Can I stop by and see the kids? Or can I make arrangements to see the kids? I am not a part of your life. I am going to, we have to put up this wall. I'm going to put myself out on a few dating websites and move forward with my life because this thing you're trying to do and talk about us isn't working. There isn't an us anymore. You thought maybe I didn't understand that in the beginning because I want to stand for our marriage and I didn't want to leave. I didn't want you out. Well, you don't get it. There isn't an us anymore. You left, and not only did you leave, you remarried somebody. So I want you to work on that kind of a conversation and notice how I said it. Think about the ways I say things, that tone, where sometimes I talk about how you're going to do that soft tone, and this didn't have that soft tone. There may have been parts in it, but this was meant to be the assertive, strong. This is, I mean business here, buddy. Practice it in the mirror. If you need to start with something, you often want to start with a reassurance when you do these kind of difficult conversations. And if possible, these conversations are best if they can be in conversation rather than texting. You don't get tone in those texts or emails. If they can be non-written form, I like that best. If that means that you left a message that was voicemail, that could do it, but I would rather you were speaking at least on the phone so that he can hear your voice live and be responding to it or getting mad and monstering at it. That's why I want you practicing. And even if you don't do it that way, I want you practice saying it. Figure out how you need to say it in a manner that if it were written, you could see the emotion in it, see the tone of emotion in it. Because, yeah, you have a valid concern. I had to work with the same thing. And it wasn't easy. He is overly confident. I did tell Chuck, well, you know what? I guess I should start dating. I didn't mean it yet. It was a fake out. Do you mean it or not? And if you don't, what are you going to do with that? He's not there, present geographically like Chuck was. I bought 2 dating books. There was like a Dating for Dummies and a similar one. And I left them sitting out, one by the couch and one maybe on a table in another room. And he did see them. I wasn't actually reading them. I thought I got them because I told myself, I think I really do need to do this. But I just wasn't ready for that. But I left them out with it was a manipulation, yeah, with the direct idea that he would see that. And he did. And I don't want to say freaked out. It scared him. He told me, he said, I saw those books and it really did scare me. And he didn't tell me that later. I knew it. He would give like this feedback, that instantaneous type of feedback. You don't have that. He's not going to walk into the house and see that because he doesn't live nearby. So you would have to be more direct. Should you intend on dating? Now, what are you going to do with that? Maybe you really, do you mean to me that, or do you mean to tell him you intend it, or do you actually intend it as well? And what does that mean for you? I think that, yeah, you can do that. I just want you to be prepared for it. Don't do it as like the expectation that it is going to change his. And does it mean you follow through? Maybe you need to start slowly. That doesn't mean you tell him you're starting slowly, and join some groups. But get out there. It's okay to do that. Get out there and join some social groups where you can meet people, and they could become, where you can find people who to date, or where you're planning on going on the dating websites and that sort of thing, or Match.com, whatever those things are. Let him know. If you do one of those websites and if you told him, he might check out your profile. Good or bad. Can he see if you've, met other people? I don't know what those things are like. But you might want to not let him know all the information so he doesn't try to check out your profile, even though he can search it out. He's never lost us, and he does need to lose you. That is going to be no contact, and you have to figure out how to do no contact with kids. And in this sense, it's more of a no communication type of no contact, and figuring out how to manage the kids so that they're communicating with him and when he does visit. Because he does need it pulled out. He needs to stop getting his you fix, and you need to tell him why. But the reassurance in that is, I still want us to be together. But your plan isn't working. I'm not doing it your way. You think I'm going to stand forever? You might be wrong. And if you plan to say, I'm going to start dating now, and say, I'm stopping standing, you can do that. Or you can say, you know what? What I did with Chuck is I said, maybe I'll change my mind. We might be wrong. I won't stand forever. I didn't say I won't. I said I might change my mind about it. All I had to do was that little bit in mind. He might need more fear or not. Okay, but you do need to put the fear in him. Yeah. And then you have to follow through on the no contact. You have to figure out a system that works, and a system that is he going to be okay with the tiniest little you fixes, because he has to have none of those. Find out where his threshold is so that he wants more but doesn't get it, and he motivates him to change. Okay. Yeah, he's overly confident. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see everybody else in the next question.